Hello, and welcome to my fifth video in my electronic experiment series. In this video, we're going to be talking about switches, and I'm just going to give you a brief overview on what they are, how they act in a circuit, and the different types of switches you can find and how they work. Alright, the first thing we're going to go over is the definition of a switch and basically what it is and what it does in a circuit. So a switch toggles the current in a circuit. So when you have it's another way to create an opening in a circuit so that you can toggle whether you want the current to flow through or not. So, and that goes to my other point too. So it prevents or enables continuous flow of electricity. So if I want to have flow and want the power to go to my LED or whatever I'm powering, then I want to toggle my switch on. And if I don't want to, then I toggle my switch off. And we have switches all around our house, like the switch to turn on a light or the switch to open the garage. So now that we know what a switch is and what it does in a circuit, let's see how it works, like the components behind it. So there are many different types of switches which we'll go over throughout the video, but let's go over the flip and the toggle. So the flip toggle, it basically connects the center terminal to the outer terminal. So this is how a basic switch works. So the center terminal is also known as the pole. So basically it switches a center or the pole to the outer parts. So basically it connects the dots otherwise that are empty or there's a gap in that circuit. So you can flip or throw, and whenever you can do that flip or throw, it's called a SPD or a single pole double throw. So this means you have one pole and then you can throw either way on or off. So while we're on the subject of on and off switches, let's go on to our next topic. So some switches are on and off, and they throw one direction and they reach the contact. So a specific example of this would be a light switch that we have in our house. And there are other types of switches also, but this one is known as SPST, single pole, single throw. And the next one we have is two poles, which is a double pole switch. And this one it pulls the same way, but it has two poles, so two center terminals instead of one. So aside from the switches with the poles and the center terminals, there are also switches known as push buttons. So push buttons are basically switches that are spring-loaded to switch or button, or is a button that jumps back to the original position. And we find these switches in our bells, and basically anything that you can press, like a buzzer, and it's commonly found. Now, on the topic of push buttons, there are many different types of push button switches, which we'll go over right now. So there's off, on, off, on, and let's go through each one individually. So the off, on is a single pull, and whenever you see the parentheses on or parentheses off, you know there's a special case for both. So in the first one, you see off, parentheses on, and what the parentheses on means that it's a momentary position, so like it stays on for a short time. So like a bell, it'll stay on and then it'll revert back to being off. And then for the second situation, we have on off. So now in this case, the switch stays on, and when you press it, it turns off. And this is a similar mechanism, so it's single pole again, but again we have the parentheses around off. Now moving on, we have the on off on. So this makes it a little tricky, but it basically says that it makes contact either way, so it'll be on, off, or on, like it'll turn on either way you make contact. And then it returns to the center position of being off. So that's pretty much the end of the video. So in this video we went over topics on switches, so what they are, how they work, and the different types of switches there are. I won't draw the schematics again because they're in my schematics video, but it's important to know the schematics for each switch as well, as it can serve you better in the future. Now, if you have any questions, please comment below or send me an email or send me a message on my website. But that's it for this time. Thanks.